The record button and then come over there while you are tramping joyously with swords. Could you please move the stool?
Yes.
Also, we're already live, just fair warning.
Hi, happy people. Welcome to this video. Welcome unhappy people too. It's okay.
You're getting super high quality videography. I spent half the week fighting a migraine and I'm still partly getting over it, so my delivery will be off. We've just decided to embrace that this week because we don't want to push back video recording even further, trademark. We are holding off on hitting Arlo hard while we prepare for the St. George's Day exhibition of arms. We have lost one of our instructors, Griffin, due to real life issues. It is a positive real life issue. We wish him well. He scored something super awesome in life. Yay, go Griffin.
Yay.
We'll catch him next year where he has already volunteered to come teach. So that is going to be a thing. But in the meantime, Kat was already planned to instruct and we haven't put her forward. Kat's going to be teaching footwork because footwork brings her joy. That dovetails on a request from a Patreon subscriber. Thank you, Patreon subscribers. Because of you, I don't have to become a sword tuber and chase the algorithm and crank out a whole bunch of really moronic stuff just to keep the algorithm happy. Yay! We don't have to do reaction videos to someone being a Nimrod just to chase views. Yes.
Lukewarm takes on HEMA debates.
Lukewarm takes on HEMA debates, yes. And it is y'all who are supporting us on Patreon who give us the desperately needed income so we don't have to do that. Thank you. Patreon subscriber requested a footwork on how do you teach to beginners? How do you teach footwork to beginners? So I'm going to say some stuff that I have said before in various parts of various videos, but I'm going to try to make it super, super explicit, okay? So Kat, I'm going to put you on stage here.
Yay.
Can you, without hitting the ceiling, so do whatever to your cuts you have to, just make cuts 1 through 4 for a moment and step forward and step backward and step forward and step backward like you're practicing your cuts.
Okay.
So, good. Now I'm going to come over, I'm going to steal your saber, and I want you to make beginner's great big shoulder cuts, okay? All right, great big beginner shoulder cuts. No chance of hurting the ceiling. Be right-handed or left-handed, I don't care.
I'll be left-handed for the angle. Soup.
Now, Kat has a slightly different use of balance than I do. This is fine. Expect this in beginners. What is important here is that when you watch Kat moving, look at her shoulders and her hips. The attack is landing before her foot lands. Now, I don't look like Chaba, who tends to crouch. Kat doesn't look like me. She has more extension in her lower back than I do. She doesn't have a whole mess of spinal injuries like I do that make life interesting on the daily. She has a whole bunch of wrist injuries that makes her life interesting on the daily.
Yay.
Plus a trick knee. Super yay. Side note, you can totally be a middle-aged fencer. Your life injuries will not prevent you from having fun with swords.
You can get more injuries. Oh, wait.
No, we're going to learn how to do this well.
Yay.
So the first part of teaching a beginner is, give me a beginner shoulder cut. Notice how her foot arrived before her hand. She gave an opportunity to me before she presented the threat. Here's the issue. Beginners are super individuated. This is a separate piece than this. Let me do this without being gauche and unshowy. Is a separate piece than this. You may or may not realize you even have one of these. What is a waist? Who actually has them?
Doesn't exist.
So when she goes to make a beginner's cut, you're going to see beginners doing a lot of this. It's lots of separate pieces. What she needs to learn to do is to take all of those pieces and integrate them into a single gesture. Make the cut. Her whole body didn't move like a Lego block, but it moved together. She took everything she did into a gesture that says, put weapon on hand. And her body weight simply came onto that front foot after the threat was delivered. Let's see it again. Watch her body weight shift. Good. Now, just for shits and giggles, do a passing step but a push cut. I'm now taking her out of her trained habits. This is literally mixing systems. Notice how, once again, the threat is here before the step is. This is the single most important part. It is specifically the single most important part because the tempo under which this flows is true regardless of what fighting system you are doing. Big asterisk unless you are an armored combatant. Armored combatants eat this rule raw because they have armor. The whole point of fencing is that you're relying on your weapon for your defense as well as your offense. And that is a fundamentally different game than I step into Cat and I let my armor take this blow so that I can land a blow that puts her out of commission permanently with one shot. Armored combat is inherently different. If I have a shield, same game. Haha, here I come. And I'm just gonna step forward like this, and she takes her shot, and I shove my shield in her hand, and I go pow over the top, like you see in all the high medieval manuscripts, wrist included. And I crack her on the dome. Well, we don't have that with swords. We're fencers, not armored fighters, and the order of operations is different. So if Kat gives me a blow like that, and she doesn't have armor, let's dramatize this.
Drama.
And I have my little sword, which is about this long right now, and she steps in.
What? Oh.
This is a double. I died because this threat was here before the feed. This was a bad move for both of us. And I, who like lasagna and deep dish Chicago pizza, and in the comments, please put together comments about how you would make Texas deep dish, because this is a thing I want to popularize. There's a different flavor, but no, it would work. You could make a brisket jalapeno deep dish Chicago style pizza and it would rock. Some people think you shouldn't add mole, and I think they're wrong.
Interesting.
Okay, now do the same cut, but in the wrong tempo.
Ha. Well. Crap.
You forgot to swing.
Blunk.
Right.
I died.
Well, yeah.
In the face.
You pulled a Cavallati. Look, blink, done. So we're belaboring this. Why? Because as beginners, you need to see this very, very dramatically. What will happen is eventually you're teaching a beginner and you will tell them this over and over and over again. And somewhere between 2 to 6 months later, your beginner is going to come to you and repeat your exact words back to you verbatim as if it is a deep and profound personal discovery. And you're going to say, yes, I told you that months ago. But, and I say this as a guy who has been the beginner repeating this, it is their personal discovery, because they've taken the words and constructed the interior experience that proves those words to be a biological reality they can actually sense. They have constructed for themselves the neurological balance connections that make that possible. The first time I saw the underarm shift in Talhofer to cover cuts, I thought it was the craziest shit ever that couldn't possibly be performable. 2 weeks later, I was like, oh, I get it. That's really simple. It's if you give me a high cut. Here I am, I've got an arming sword, and I'm here. And I've taken the blow and stepped in. Yay! It's the one many Talhofer people know and love. Although actually I've done it wrong, should have been here. And there's crazy stuff going on because it's Talhofer. Anyway, that was 30 years ago. I know, I'm a hemodinosaur, gotta deal with that. I'm not one of the sexy young up-and-comers who puts themselves on calendars.
Brontosaurus.
Yes,
Yes.
I could be a brontosaurus, lumbering and slow, cold-blooded, thump, thump, thump. Here's the next part. Cat goes to attack me. My line of battle is based on where my chest is pointing. Power comes from my waist, but most of us as beginners have no idea where waists are. Kat insisted for months that she didn't have a waist, and anything regarding the waist was totally a lie.
Correct.
Jake, who's in my school, moved like a Lego man for a long time, from the hips like this. He was absolutely certain that waists were a lie. Cat tax won. and I parry one. What I just did was a footwork move, but it came from the fact that I turned my chest so that I could take her blow in alignment. That is my hand in front of my chest. What happened to my body weight as I did that? Let's unpack it. I'm gonna make the parry, don't bother with the cut.
Okay.
As I do this, my balance has changed, and I now need to go here to be properly balanced. This means I get footwork for free simply by staying upright. And if I parry two, it's the same way. Here's my parry two. I cover my balance. Now I'm offline. So cat cuts one, pop. Cat cuts two, pop. By maintaining my alignment, I get the footwork for free. If you actually tell the beginner what's going on and to feel where they want to step, you can then begin to teach them. Here I am in my stance. Cat's gonna cut one. I can go backwards as well and move the other leg and let my weight shift out. Or cat cuts one. I can let my weight shift forward. She anticipated that and cut at my steak, not at me, bad cat.
No cookie for me.
No cookie, I get the cookie, haha. You can begin to tell them, feel where your balance goes. If you start running backwards as soon as you see the attack, as most beginners will tend to, and you're turning your body, your weight will tend to be on your front foot. So shifting offline and backwards is easier. If you tend to be aggressive and you have action figure fencing, your metaphor, come and cut one, you'll tend to wind up here if you stay in alignment. This will tend to give you strong on strong binds. This is great if you're a shorter fencer. Because if I'm a shorter fencer and I'm here, this is nightmare fuel for cat. Because I can unwind and my list of targets is yes. And she only has very limited move if she's going to avoid being shanked. Conversely, if I'm tall, haha.
Well,
I can use my ridiculous reach to simply safely countercut the shorter fencer's attack, unless the shorter fencer is on the ball and knows it's going to happen, and then we get into the actual science of fencing. What are the choices and how do we arrange them? In this case, it's more Wissenschaft than Scientia. It's science the way economics is science. What are your choices and why are you making them? So, to sum up, for beginners, understand that they are a disjointed mess who don't understand how to do that. They have not built the inner proprioceptive links that they can tell the difference between this and this. They will swear to you that they've been doing this when they are actually doing this, and they will get upset with you when you correct them on them. Show them this video, tell them that they just have to lump it and stay coachable if they're gonna learn. Or you be super cool and patient and be careful when you present the corrections so that they're in a headspace that allows them to receive it. You have to understand the psychology of the person you're coaching to know when you give corrections or when you give some other information that makes the correction just become part of the process. Such as, it would be super cool if I heard your saber on her mask before I heard your foot hit the floor. What would that sound like? Go try that and see what that sounds like. Now you've given the same instruction, but you've added a tiny piece of curiosity to go with it. Do you have anything to add to this as someone who has been on the receiving end of these instructions more times than you probably want to remember?
I did, but it fell right out of my head.
Oh no, we'll put that in a future video.
Okay.
Or in your class.
Right.
All right, so, sir, your request is fulfilled. If you need drill down on that, just drop me a line and I'll either answer that privately or it will be a big enough topic we will make another video about it. So, have fun and go do the thing. Preferably with us, April 26th to 28th, Atlanta, Texas. It will be super cool.
Yes.
We've got more videos and content coming, so if you liked what you saw and it was useful for you, please stab the like button, /subscribe, and punch the little bell icon so that you're notified immediately when new content comes available. Thanks, and go do the thing.